14 killed in Dusty 2 siege and attackers eliminated. And Tanzania can win next match against Uganda and qualify for AFCON. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. First, the national news. Moving on, the very first story, people who use the Morogoro-Dodoma road, such as car owners and pedestrians, have been stranded and unable to continue with their journey because they were unable to cross from one side to another. This comes after a makeshift link which helps to connect the Magola Bridge and keeps River Mkundi at bay from that main road broke due to heavy rains which fell overnight in Morogoro, Tanga, Manyara and Dodoma regions. The residents have complained about the National Environmental Management Council NEMC's move to prevent the digging of sand in that river, which has caused both sides of the river to fill up with sand and which has resulted in flooding.
The work is unsatisfactory, and every so often this section of the road gets damaged and the repair work has to be done once again, which makes one to wonder what expertise was applied. It would have been better if water vegetation could be planted so that it guides the course of rainwater towards the bridge. It would be a good idea to look into a different approach in constructing this bridge by involving all stakeholders so as to protect the environment. We'll be conducting a meeting this morning so we can join forces. They have power plants, workers and engineers. So is the government. We have a team of engineers and a company from China that was building the road. So together we shall not be needing any assistance other than financing. We are confident that this road will be completed.
2 days after the operation to catch fishermen without licenses was conducted on the coast of the Indian Ocean, causing a shortage of fish, the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries has made a statement regarding the operation and directed all fishermen who were caught for not renewing their licenses for this year to be released immediately. The Deputy Minister of Livestock and Fisheries, Abdallah Ulega, made the directive after the saga occurred and added that the ministry directs all fishermen to continue to apply for licenses until January 31st.
Tunatoa muda wa nyongeza.
We shall be giving additional time so our officers can pay a visit to fishermen and issue them a license from where they are based. They must take government license books with them rather than wait for the fishermen to go to their office. Mistakes from this exercise, particularly on those to do with the issuance of a license, we officially deal away with them today. When you apply for a license, it is not issued on time and the government keeps insisting that we should have a license. How are we going to get one? Our families depend on us to go fish so we can look after them. This has affected a lot of women who deal in this trade. What we need to do is to consider what impact this has, because soon the catch will get spoiled. So we've decided to allow the sale to go on as we look for a solution.
The President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, has today met and held talks with the retired President of Nigeria, Dr. Olusegun Obasanjo, in a State House in Dar es Salaam. After the talks, Dr. Obasanjo commended President Magufuli for the good job he does in leadership, including combating corruption, strengthening education and infrastructure.
He has become a very strong builder, building very strong structure on what he has met on the ground. You know, development of a country is not a one-day wonder. It's cumulative. Those who have come before have done their best, good or bad. With the benefit of hindsight, we probably criticize or correct some of the things that have been done in the past. But what is important is that we continue to build. And the President has continued to build strongly in the area of education, building strongly in the area of infrastructure, as I said, building strongly in the area of political organization of his own party.
Earlier, before meeting Dr. Basanjo, President Magufuli received letters of introduction to 3 ambassadors appointed to represent South Korea, Malawi, and Brazil in Tanzania after the ones before them completed their time. The ambassadors include Ambassador to South Korea, Cho Tae-ich, who takes the place of Song Gyum-young, Malawi's Glad Machembe Mantuli, who takes the place of Hawa Olga Ndilowe, and Brazil's Antonio Augusto Martinez Cesar, who replaces Carlos Alfonso Iglesias Puente. Now, moving on, some residents of Mnuguna and Misuna wards in Singida Municipal have begun to run away from their houses following heavy ongoing rains that have filled their houses with water, which has been claimed to have occurred due to poor infrastructure of water drainage systems and has also caused some students to get to school late.
Our houses have been flooded and some of our property has been damaged. We have young children. The toilets are flooded too, which puts us at risk in contaminating waterborne diseases. We ask the government to help us. We have no food nor a place to sleep. We always blame it on the rain. But the amount of rain that has fallen is not unusual. The problem is proper infrastructure was not laid. So we've decided together with Tarura that from the next financial year, drains will be laid out so as to protect houses against flooding. What we want to address is on how we can build proper drainage system once we have the money to protect our people and their property during the rain season.
The Prevention and Corruption Bureau (PCCB) has requested the Kisutu Resident Magistrate Court in Dar es Salaam to question the former TFF President Jamal Malinzi and his former Secretary Celestine Mwesigwa. The PCCB's State Prosecutor Leonard Swai submitted the request to the court with the Resident Chief Magistrate Wilbert Mashauri, where the case had been taken in order to continue being listened to. The case had reached the stage where the court was supposed to listen to the testimony of the state's witnesses. However, according to the prosecutor, Leonard Swai, the state's witnesses who had been scheduled to come today encountered unexpected problems as they were preparing to come to court. At the same time, the prosecutor, Leonard Swai, requested the court to also so as the PCCB can question them. Now, according to the prosecutor, there are new allegations which the PCCB is thinking about leveling against the 2 ex-top officials of the TFF. Now, following the prosecutor's request, the defense requested the court to take the matter very seriously because the defendants have been suffering for all this time in detention. The two suspects are accused of economic sabotage and the laundering of around $375,418 US. The case has been adjourned up to January 21st this year, when further witnesses' testimonies will be heard. Now, moving on, land conflicts between the owner of 108 acres of farm in Mtsakuja, Pangani Ward, Kibaha District, Coast Region, and residents claimed to have invaded the area has been resolved after the owner forgave demolishing their houses and told them to agree to the rules of developing the area according to the city planning procedures and by working with them.
Tunatoa fursa kwa wavamizi walio na nyumba kuomba kwetu rasmi.
We ask those who have illegally settled on our land and put up structures to apply to us officially, so we can add you in urban planning, and that they will pay us the value of the piece of land as per the square meter. For those who have not completed construction can also apply.
Ambia watu kwamba mimi
I respect the work of a land surveyor. I ask those of you who would like their land to be surveyed to pay 50,000 shillings into this specified account.
Upimaji utakaofanywa hata kama popote pale kuna mitaa inafanyika upimaji.
The local government is the one to supervise survey on land and not just anyone. I ask you to be clear on this. Only the local government authority is the one to supervise this exercise.
Je, wewe ni kiongozi wa kuchaguliwa na wananchi?
Entrepreneurs and cattle transporters in Tabora Municipal Auction have stopped business activities at the auction after over 300 cattle were caught and they were told to pay 50,000 when they were preparing to transport them, claiming that they are being considered as wandering livestock while they were brought at the area.
We've been waiting here for 3 days for new permits from Town Road to be issued. It takes at least 3 to 4 days. And when our cattle is confiscated, we are fined up to 50,000 shillings per cow, which makes operating such a business costly.
Na ng'ombe wangu 89.
I have a herd of them to be. The law is very clear. Anyone who takes cattle to graze will do so in a lorry or a van.
And that is the end of national news. International news follows next. And in international news tonight, the defense organs in Kenya have been able to end their siege on a Desert D2 building in Riverside in Nairobi, where Al-Shabaab, a militant group, invaded yesterday afternoon at 2 p.m. with President Uhuru Kenyatta stating that 14 people were killed in the siege and lasted 18 hours.
Confirmation that 14 innocent lives were lost through the hands of these murderous terrorists, with others injured. We will seek out every person that was involved in the funding until they are held to account.
Terrorism is just terrorism. It has nothing to do with religion. After all, some of the victims here are Muslims. No harm to you. You're not a human being. These are animals who must be dealt with beastly the way they're dealing with the rest of the world.
Now, yesterday, a historic defeat for a sitting government in history. UK Prime Minister Theresa May, a Brexit deal was rejected in Parliament. Capital Television's Vanessa Victor and Deutsche Welle's Thomas Barrow discuss what this means for Germany in this special report.
is the planned name of a future bill in the UK that will encompass any withdrawal agreement between the UK and the European Union in domestic law, has been a very key focus not in Europe as well as in Germany, not only this week but for quite some time now. Yesterday, the UK Prime Minister Theresa May's Brexit deal was backed only by 202 MPs, with 432 voting against. The deal thus was rejected by 230 votes, which is the largest defeat for a sitting government in history. Our correspondent from Deutsche Welle, Thomas Sparrow, is here with us with more. Thomas, what has been the views and the reaction of Germany, German politicians, as well as businesses on these developments?
Something that German politicians and businesses want to avoid at all costs is a disorderly Brexit. In other words, a Brexit without a deal between the UK and the EU. That's something that they've stated on various occasions, and that they have also stated once again today as a result of that vote that you mentioned. So that's the first key element. They want to avoid a disorderly Brexit, but that goes hand in hand with a second element, namely that they see that there is a possibility, in fact a real possibility, that there will be a no-deal Brexit, and therefore they are preparing for that scenario as well. That's something that we've heard not only from politicians but also from businesses. In fact, the German Chamber of Commerce stressing that businesses have to prepare for that instance as well. So those are two key elements. Now, the third element that is important is that German politicians have been saying, well, now it's up to the UK to mention exactly what they want. We know what they don't want, but they want to find out what they want and what the next steps should be in order precisely to decide how the best way forward could be in this particular Brexit case. Now, the EU has also stated very clearly, and they did so again now, that the withdrawal agreement that was agreed previously between Theresa May's government and EU officials is the best deal possible and the best way in order to ensure an orderly Brexit. So they're still saying that that is what they want to bring forward, although at the same time they have said that they are preparing for all scenarios, including a scenario where there is no deal between the UK and the EU.
So what does this then now mean for Germany?
Germany, as I said, wants an orderly Brexit. That is in Germany's best political interest, but it's also in its best economic interest, because Germany, obviously, as an exporting country, as a country focused on exports, views the UK as one of its key trading partners, and again wants to avoid any sign of instability or any sign of chaos. That's good for German businesses and that's good for German politics if there is stability and order. So that's something very important from a German perspective. German politicians are obviously aware that something now has to happen in order to move this negotiation forward. It's stalled after the vote in Parliament. Again, what they have stated is they don't think there's much room for maneuver when it comes to the withdrawal agreement. There could be some room for maneuver when it comes to the declaration on future ties between the UK and the EU. That's something very different from the withdrawal agreement, and that's something where there may be some sort of maneuver, but again, it's not where the main difficult points are. So from a German perspective, from a German idea, what they would like is an orderly Brexit, although Germany has stated time and time again that they regret Brexit, that they would like the UK in the EU, but that they respect the democratic decision that was made by the British people when they decided in that referendum to leave the European Union. So there's a little bit of regret, but at the same time understanding and the idea that they want to move things forward, and they want to move things forward in an orderly manner.
So they want to move things forward in an orderly manner. We understand that. But how are they preparing for this in case it doesn't go as planned? Which it's not going as planned.
Then, yes, it isn't going as planned, that's for sure. So they're preparing, for example, by planned legal changes, or by telling businesses how they could prepare for a no-deal scenario, or trying to present information to the general public. In fact, that's something that the Foreign Ministry did yesterday, present information to the general public as to how they could prepare for a disorderly withdrawal. So those are elements that are being planned. The German cabinet has been discussing this as well for a long time now. Again, they want an orderly Brexit, but they're preparing for a disorderly Brexit. However, the German opposition has stated that they would like more details precisely when it comes to the question that you've just asked, what does that preparation mean? How exactly is Germany preparing for this no-deal scenario, more than simply saying that there are possible bills that have to be discussed in Parliament, or how businesses should prepare for one case or the other? The German opposition would like much more clarity as well from the German government.
Well, let's just quickly jump to Theresa May, the UK Prime Minister. What does Germany, or German politicians, as well as businesses, as well as just in general, what do you think this means for her after what happened yesterday?
Well, for her, obviously, this was a very big defeat. You said it yourself, and now she has to come up with an alternative, a plan B. From a German perspective, the key element is that they also want to negotiate with a stable UK government. If there is going to be any renegotiation, if there is any room for maneuver when it comes to the withdrawal agreement or the future declaration of interests and of the future relations, then that's something that has to happen with a stable UK government. That's something that German politicians have stressed time and time again. So any instability from the government perspective in the United Kingdom is something that EU leaders don't want, because even though there are differences of opinions, even though they have to negotiate as they have done for a long time, they do want to be able to renegotiate if that's what is decided, or change anything if that's what is decided, with a stable government in the United Kingdom.
Thank you very much, Thomas. This whole Brexit situation, as well as I can tell, it's not just an European thing, it's affecting the entire world. So let's keep looking and just see how it all pans out.
My pleasure.
And that is the end of international news. Business news follows shortly after the break. We'll be right back.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news tonight, Tanzania Development Bank TADB has entered into agreement with National Microfinance Bank NMB and Tanzania Postal Bank TPB PLC to help small-scale farmers through the Smallholders Credit Guarantee Scheme SCGS, which is under TADB.
Smallholder Farmers Credit Guarantee System is a scheme that involves banking institutions that are in contact with small-scale farmers who actually meet condition of getting a loan. To get a loan from the bank, and Tanzania Agricultural Bank will guarantee farmers up to 50% of the loan. As acting loans manager from Tanzania Postal Bank, I welcome you all to visit our branches, which are available throughout the country, to find out procedures that have been set to benefit from this scheme.
And Tanzania Postal Bank TPB PLC and Tanzania Telecommunications Company TTTL have signed a trade cooperation agreement where from now on T-Pesa agents will be able to conduct transactions through TPB PLC.
Ya kuwahudumia mawakala wa T-Pesa,
T-Pesa agents throughout the country should come to our bank for float services from all our branches in the country.
Tukifocus zaidi katika mikoa ya Lindi,
The main focus is in Lindi and Mtwara with regards to cashews. The Lake Zone region, especially in Simiyu region, is to be on cotton farming. We want farmers to have access to information on seeds and sales.
Na kuweza ku-access information zinazohusiana na mbegu, zinazohusiana na bei za mazao.
In increasing revenue sources, the government has provided a new guideline for revenue collection in the country from local government level that is friendly to citizens during revenue collection, a system that has involved the private sector and is being overseen by the Office of Regional Administration and Local Government.
Imarisha usimamizi, itaongeza uwazi na uwajibikaji na ushirikishwaji wa wadau mbalimbali wakiwemo wakazi, wananchi wa kawaida, wafanyabiashara, watu wenye viwanda, wamachinga na watu wote. Yani watatambua wajibu wao na vile.
Kwa hiyo kwenye mradi wetu kuna vitu vingi tunafanya.
There are a lot of things that we do in this project, including influencing investments and trade, deal with challenges of trade setbacks from small to big businesses.
Kwa hiyo mazingira yote ambayo yanahusika na ufanyaji wa biashara.
And that is the end of business news. Sports news follows shortly.
Hi, my name is Kotaro Tokuda.
What's up? My name is Sean Garnier.
I'm John Barnes from Liverpool Football Club. The hip, hop, a hippie, the hip, hop. You don't stop the rockin' to the bang, man. Boogie say up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what you hear?
I'm watching Sports Gazette.
I'm watching Sport Gazette.
I'm here watching Sports Gazette.
With Sebastian.
With Sebastian. Peace out.
Yes! And you can also watch Sports Gazette for highlights and interviews regarding sports. Do not miss Sports Gazette every Wednesday at 7 p.m. only on Capital Television.
And in sports news, the Young Africans head coach Mwini Zahera believes Tanzania can win their next game against Uganda and qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations if their players work harder.
I told Ajib Tanzania will qualify for AFCON. Not just Ajib, I told all the players, you will head to AFCON, you will defeat Uganda here. Now it's the time for every Tanzanian player to show their quality. Fortunately, there are 3 games before the match against Uganda, so I believe you guys will get 8 points and head to AFCON.
The National Basketball Federation, TBF, has asked the government to improve the standards of the indoor national stadium as the federation has requested to host the Zone 5 Under-16 Championships.
I would like to say that there are many benefits for us as a country to host big competitions. For instance, if we get the opportunity to host the African Under-16 finals, it will be the first time such a huge competition has been held in the country. So I would like to ask stakeholders to join us in making sure we prepare the required infrastructure well, because FIBA Africa will send their people for inspection before granting us the permission. They will come to check the readiness as well as training courts, hotels, and etc. We are not worried about all these things. The main thing is the competition stadium, the National Indoor Stadium. They would like to see if there's any improvement compared to what they saw last year. So, I would also like to ask the government to renovate the stadium so that it can be in a good state.
Defending champion Caroline Wozniak is into the 3rd round of the Australian Open with a straight-set win over Sweden's Johanna Larsson. Here's more on the story.
The Danish third seed needed just 66 minutes to beat world number 75 Larsen 6-1, 6-3. Wozniacki will face either Russia's Maria Sharapova, who won the title in Melbourne in 2008, or Swede Rebecca Peterson on Friday. However, 29th seed Donna Vekic was stunned by wildcard Kimberly Birrell. Australia's Birrell, ranked 240th in the world, bet the Croat 6-4, 4-6, 6-1 to reach the third round of a Grand Slam for the first time.
And Britain's undefeated WBO welterweight world champion Terence Cranford, but insists still wants to face Kell Brook. Here's more on the story.
Khan returned to boxing last April after 23 months away from the sport. He rejected a payday against Brook to fight 31-year-old American Crawford on 20th of April in the United States. Winning this fight, people will remember me as a great champion, said Khan. The former unified light welterweight world champion told BBC Sport he kept thinking the Brook fight would be the next one until he got a phone call from Bob Arum saying, "Would you want to fight Crawford?"
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. Thank you for watching and good night.